Hey everyone, Donna Nelson here. Welcome to episode 8 of Rooted in Wisdom, a daily dose of Donna. Today I'm talking about the 4-letter word that no one wants to talk about. What is the 4-letter word? Well, tune in because first I want you to comment what you think the 4-letter word is, and then we're going to talk about it for the next 4 days on the impact this 4-letter word has on your life and what you can do about it. So whether you want to up your game in business, have better relationships, make more money, have more abundance in all areas of your life, improve your mental, physical, and emotional well-being, or feel more spiritually connected in your journey to wholeness, you need a foundation rooted in wisdom with a little science and soul. So join me here each day for a few minutes of Rooted in Wisdom. So today our 4-letter word is fear. I want to see who has guessed fear. Why is fear such a taboo word? I want to know the same thing. Why are people afraid to talk about what they're afraid to talk about? So this has been an interesting subject over the last couple of days, but fear impacts us significantly in all areas of our life when we live in this state of chronic fear. But when we talk about life in general and our businesses, it's super important that we have a handle on fear, because the 4 ways that it has its biggest impact on us across all domains of our life is by affecting our clarity, our connection to ourselves and others, our confidence, and our communication. So over the next couple of days, we're going to tackle each one of those in small chunks. So today, since clarity is at the top, why is fear, how does it have an impact on our clarity? Well, the first reason is because when our body is in a state of fear, our emotional brain and our thinking brain are communicating with each other that there's a problem. And the problem is we need to save ourselves. So while most of the challenges that create fear for us in this modern age is not what our primitive brain was designed to be afraid of. So primitively, it's as a safety mechanism. If you hear a gunshot and you're in a parking lot, you would probably want to take cover. But most of the things most people are afraid of are not things like that, right? So most of them are things like being judged, being excluded, not measuring up, not making the cut. Right now, businesses and their owners and the leaders of organizations are a fear of, what if we fail? What if we don't make enough money? What if we can't hit payroll? All of these things. Fear of losing our partner due to financial strain, or whatever these things are that are really more psychological fear than they are real fears of safety. So while yes, any kind of fear threatens our safety, which is why our body automatically goes into a stress response, and our emotional brain tells our thinking brain, no thinking required, we need to run and save ourselves, and then our body is flooded with all of these hormones that now are creating this overload in our system, telling us that we need to be upset. Now, what happens over time, if you are one of those who's in a chronic state of worry and fear, then you are causing damage to your hippocampus, which is part of your emotional brain. And it's also the brain that stores certain memories. And what happens when you're a constant worrier and living in fear of the what if, what's going to go wrong next, or how am I going to fix this, or what happens, if this happens. If you're one of those, I encourage you to solve this problem of getting past your fear, because you're causing damage to that memory center of your brain that is then creating a chronic memory of shit's always wrong. You're going to see the negative. You're going to keep triggering yourself into that stress response of there's a reason to be afraid. And then you're going to trigger anxiety. And then as soon as something, even a minor thing happens that your emotional center of your brain triggers as fear, you feel anxious. And when you feel anxious, and when you're in that fear response, the point is your thinking brain, that frontal lobe, that cortex that we rely on for solving problems and being creative and coming up with solutions, is offline. This is the biggest challenge for business leaders, particularly during the pandemic, being in this state of fear and not being able to come up with solutions, make good decisions, lacking reactivity because their frontal lobe is offline. So these are the complications with lack of clarity when you are in a stress response. So to get back into clarity, one of the tools that I recommend is, write out the things that you're afraid of. And are they really valid? Are they really threatening your safety? And how can you reverse and reframe that to something that's more positive, solution oriented once you're away from it? But quieting your mind, getting in the present moment, not reflecting on the past, not projecting into the future, but staying with what's in this moment, feeling into those feelings, allowing them to sit for a minute. They will pass. Allow yourself to get a moment of clarity by just sitting calmly for 5 minutes and then restarting. I hope this little tidbit on how to overcome fear and have more clarity during times of stress was helpful. I'll see you tomorrow with number 2 on fear. Good night.